In the midst of doing all the things, you can do all things and chase your dreams. Stay encouraged as we go on this journey called life, tackling everything that comes our way while we shine our light despite any circumstances we face. No more downplaying or dimming your light, because through the good, the bad, and everything in between, together we can encourage over everything. I love answering your questions. I just may answer it in an episode or dedicate a whole episode to it. You can DM me your questions on Instagram at Encourage Over Everything, or even answer in my stories. I love this question, and I'm giving you the short and long of it. I'm going to walk you through my transformation and how I changed my mindset, the story I was telling, and did the work to have the bright, shining smile you see before you today. My transformation formula revealed. I received this question: how do you keep that gorgeous smile in hard times? Which is an awesome question. Now, you may be thinking it's more like Lady Gaga, Born This Way, but I can tell you that couldn't be further from the truth. Now, what I would love to say is that I'm channeling my inner Beyonce in this moment when she sings the lyric, "I woke up like this." And as much as that is true for most days, years ago, it was most definitely nothing like that. I used to wake up dreading the day, just waiting on somebody to get on my nerves. It was giving me very much Khalees, the "I hate you so much right now" vibes. All right, let me step off my playlist for a minute to tell you that the smile I have today is a very different kind of smile. It's more like a how it started versus how it's going kind of smile. This smile is earned, honey. I earned this smile. I worked really, really hard for it. I really put in the inner work by focusing on my healing and becoming the woman I want to be. This smile comes after dark days, chaotic storms, all that led me to brighter and better days. What tried to take me down just couldn't. Not only did I make it through, but I'm better for it. So today's smile is really a result of the transformation of healing, deepening my spiritual relationship, and personal development. Tapping into my well of positivity and really relying on my habits has been the solution. It comes from a confident, enlightened, and really genuinely happy place. I talk a lot about my relationship with God in this episode, as my spiritual journey is such a major key in my transformation. So I wanted to just really put this out there. I honor your religion and spirituality just the same. All walks are welcomed and loved for sure. So I'll be sharing a lot of my spiritual journey in this episode. So you can really truly understand the glow of this smile. You really have to know about the journey it took to get here. This is not the sexy answer you may be looking for. There was no glam squad, no personal assistant handling all the details, or a fairy godmother waving a magic wand. There have been a lot of dark moments that led me to really look inward and do my inner work to heal, really shift my perspectives in a way that I looked at things and evolved into a better, higher version of myself. So the process may not be sexy, but the results are. A lot of times we see people when they made it. They've arrived at their place or a similar destination we ultimately want to be. And it looks so easy when you're looking at their results. They seem to have the perfect family, the big house ripped right out of your favorite design magazine, nice cars, booming business or career, social life always popping. They're traveling here, there, and everywhere. Suddenly, their highlight reel looks far better than the behind the scenes footage you're living and you hope never makes the director's cut or even the bloopers for that matter. It's kind of like watching interviews after a movie when you get the real tea on all the behind the scenes footage on how it actually went down. You've already seen the movie, but you didn't see everything it took to make the movie. You didn't see the process, just the final edited cut of the full movie. The actors actually fill us in on what they went through during the process of making the movie. I love sharing my favorites with you. My favorite app on my phone is the Growth Day app. The journal feature is everything. If you want to be able to journal literally anywhere you have your phone in hand, this is for you. If you don't know what to write, no worries. You will want this for the science-backed journal prompts alone. It's a great place to reflect, explore, gain new insights, and level up your perspective. This all-in-one personal development app has a great plan section, a place to capture your life scores, and so much more. Now, if you love self-improvement as much as I do, you are going to love what Brendon Burchard has put together. Check out the link in show notes, and I'll see you there. So let me fill you in on my process, because that's really where the true grit is. It's where we often find ourselves living the most of our time before we ever even make it to the podium to accept the award. So let me take you back to when the dark days were heavy to carry, the clouds and the fog so thick it didn't seem like it would ever lift, and my nonstop stream of tears from wells that I thought would never run dry. And this narrow mentality I had that the way that things were in that moment is how they would be forever, like for the rest of my life. In episode 2, I opened up about why I had to encourage over everything. And if you haven't heard it, go back and give it a listen. I like to share my story because stories help us cope and heal and spark inspiration and even encouragement to embark on a new journey to succeed. Essentially, what I shared about was me being a divorced 20-something single mom with 2 babies, one on each hip, and how that seemed to be the worst thing that could ever happen to me. I carried a lot of shame about being a single mom, and not to mention that it was just hard as hell sometimes. Straight up. So back then, my mindset at the time was that why me mentality and how it was just so unfair. And for years, I shied away from really doing my inner work. I had 2 kids to raise, and giving them the best life I possibly could really became my mission. And I was also building a career and still trying to have some sort of a life. It was necessary for me to focus on those needs at the time, but it was somewhat convenient as I didn't have the capacity, nor was I all the way aware that I needed to really make room for my healing. Meaning, I knew healing was important, but I had no idea that it was really the key to unlock my own happiness. I harbored a lot of anger and yet wondered why I constantly had something to be angry about. I even prided myself on handing out the business, meaning I was just quick to snap. I was so focused on placing blame on people, work, and circumstances as to why I was so angry, but never really took any accountability in the part I played in it all. Do you know what that feels like? Like, have you ever found yourself in that space? If they would have just said or done this, if they would have never lied or hurt or betrayed me, if this would have never happened, if things would have only worked out the way I wanted, and my personal favorite, if everyone would just do what I wanted, we'd all be happy. Let me just say, there is no power in that space. I took myself right out of the power position when I turned my fate over to other people, work, and any other circumstances that I didn't think worked in my favor. I handed over my power to people and let life have its way with me. And then I had the nerve to be mad and confused as to why things kept turning out the way that they did. Now, keep in mind, at that time, I still thought it had everything to do with everyone else and my poor luck, and not at all nothing to do with me. But I just didn't realize that I was really the key to the way I seen and perceived life, reacted, and handled things. I was pushing so hard against everything that was happening that I didn't realize the more resistance I created, the harder things remained. Now, in the same token, I don't want to paint this picture that life was just terrible, because there was a lot of good times and a lot of good things happening too. Like, my kids were happy and healthy. I had an amazing support system from family and friends. I was so blessed to have my kids be with family while I worked. And my kids had, wonderful extended aunties and uncles from my friends that love them so much. Blood couldn't make us more family. I was also building a successful career in leadership, and my career allowed me to provide for me and my children. So everything wasn't all bad, but my perspective most definitely was, and it was eating me alive on the inside. Unfortunately, I kept thinking that it was what happened outside of me that made everything so hard, but really it was my own mindset. I was just oblivious at the time. It wasn't until my mom passed away that I was cracked wide open. Shortly before the loss of my mom, my grandmother had also passed, and that cracked the surface, but it was the loss of my mom that broke me all the way down to my break pads. Like, the loss of my granny taught me just how fragile life is, as she passed away the day after her birthday. We went from celebrating another year of her life to mourning the loss of her life the very next day. She was everything to our family. But with my mom, so much of my everything was wrapped up in her that only remnants of me was left. My mom had me on her 15th birthday, and ours was one of the most important relationships in my life. We had a unique bond and grew up together in so many ways. She was and still is so much a part of who I am that at that time, I just didn't know who I was without her. It was in that space that suddenly every complaint I ever had, every petty gripe or woe is me moment I ever had meant absolutely nothing to me. I didn't care about who did me wrong, what unfair cards I was dealt. I didn't have my mom and my granny anymore, and I was so lost. I didn't know who I was without my mom, nor did I know how I was supposed to raise these kids on my own. Like, how dare they leave me to do that by myself? But in all honesty, it was in that space where the days were the darkest, and I was in a constant fog. Usually, I was the pick myself up by the bootstraps kind of chick, the Mariah Carey breakdown in the shower kind of girl, and yet show a brave face to the world type of a performer. But I didn't even have it in me to do any of that. I had zero clue how I was going to get through this, and I absolutely had to, because my babies were counting on me, and I had to be there for them to help them get through this too. By the grace of God, I was presented with an opportunity to do grief counseling, and it literally saved my life. I couldn't go at this alone, and I needed a new way of handling things, but I didn't have the ability to do that on my own. My grief counselor gave me the guidance and support I needed and really shined a light on my path to healing that I desperately needed to be on. God's plan is always what's best for us. And for the first time in my life, I was really open to let Him work on me and my life. Looking back, now I can see how I ignored God's call on my life so many times. He had been trying to get me to heal so I could acknowledge my own greatness, recognize how powerful my voice is, and how to truly use my voice to help lift others up. I see the many opportunities I breezed right past, pointing fingers and justifying why my life was so hard instead of embracing the opportunities to mold me and to use those past hurts to help heal others. Now, I believe nothing happens by accident, and God knew I needed to be broken in a way that only He could mold me back together again. The healing that was required of me when my mom passed demanded I rebuild myself from the ground up. Let me just say this, I miss my mom every day, and I will for the rest of my life. But her loss was the catalyst that snapped me out of the negative mindset and woe is me mentality and set me on the path to becoming a better me. I had to be broken in order to be rebuilt. As I started working through grief counseling, I began filling myself up with as much positivity as I could. It wasn't just healing through the great losses I've endured, but also past hurts and wounds that were lying dormant, but very much alive under the surface, that I was really able to truly absorb positivity. The more positivity I absorbed, the more it helped me combat negativity within me to really challenge my thoughts and behaviors. I didn't realize it at the time, but my thoughts really kept me locked up for so long. But the more positivity I had to challenge those thoughts, to really gain new ideas and insights that made me look at my thoughts differently and really think new thoughts. Me thinking the same negative thoughts, that same negative vicious cycle only kept me running on that same track. And grief counseling gave me another key into my well of positivity, as it really gifted me so many new revelations and aha moments that really helped me to heal the pain, but also to grow from it. Although living and working within my grief was one of the most excruciating times in my life thus far, it really was my grief that I learned how to deal with my feelings and manage them instead of them managing me. They weren't there as a form of punishment. They were there as an invitation to explore, a signal to call my attention to something within me that I needed to acknowledge and address. I very much felt the feelings. I allowed them space to breathe and then explored them. I would think about, how does this make me feel? How long do I really want to feel this way? What do I want to feel? What did this feeling mean to me? And is that what I want it to mean to me? My own healing was the first major key to genuinely smiling again. Once I was done with grief counseling, I dived deep into personal development. After the dark and heavy days that came from such great loss, I crave the light, sunshine, and better days, honey. From the loss, I gained a lot of insights that really began changing the way that I see and value life. So many things that seemed to matter became microscopic and dang near invisible in terms of importance in my life. Sometimes it takes losing so much to learn what's really important. Hanging on to past offenses, Hurt and pain no longer fazed me or served me. I didn't have capacity to be distracted by what anyone else said, did, didn't say, or do. And I just knew the way that I wanted to live the rest of my life, it had to be on my terms. I had to take my power back and really take responsibility for participation in my own life. The more I worked on me, the more I wanted to help other people cope with their grief. I started writing a book that is very much still in the works, thank you. But the more I worked on me and started writing my book and creating Encourage Over Everything, it led me to get a coach. That really skyrocketed my personal development and my progress. It really deepened my understanding that I didn't have control over other people and whatever they were going to do, no more than I had control over circumstances or what might happen. But I do have control over me, how I think, my perception on how I choose to see things, how I react and respond and live. All of that is up to me. So I vow to never live my life at the mercy of what was happening to or around me, but from my own place of power and knowing who I am and creating the life that I want to live. What I love about having a coach is the newfound perspectives I gain that really lead me more to myself. It isn't someone repeating back to me what I said in a different way. It's having the guidance and support I need to really connect back to myself, where I discover a new level of insights for me that help me to continue to evolve. So when you have an amazing coach, they don't just solve your problems for you. An amazing coach will shine a light in your blind spots that you don't see or consider, ask you questions you don't think to ask, and really creates a safe place for you to face scary things, which makes it way less scary. You are better supported to explore the areas that you've been avoiding or been afraid to face with someone holding your hand and really guiding you through to healing. Now, as with anything, when you are open to the process and open to the insights and new ideas, you can really flourish. It was really in this space that I learned how to end my own suffering faster. The cycle of negative thoughts and behaviors only caused me to suffer more and longer. But when you have this kind of guidance, you can see things through a whole new lens. For all the reasons I love being coached are all the same reasons I love being a coach. I'm so glad we are in a time that is normalizing a coach or counselor. We need coach and counsel in our lives. It's amazing to me that when we think about our health, we'll go see whoever it is that we need some help from. If you aren't really sure what's going on with your health, you're probably going to go to your doctor, your primary care provider. If you have skin problems, you'll go to the dermatologist, or if you need help with your diet, you go to a dietitian or a nutritionist. We need to normalize the same for our mental health. There is no weakness in asking for help. It's actually more of a sign of strength to ask for help. It means you are aware that you need outside counsel to help get you to the next level. That may be a coach, a counselor, a therapist, a psychologist. Whatever you need, go get it. If you are afraid of asking for help out of fear of being judged, trust me, no one judges you harder than you. So cut yourself some slack. And if you're embarrassed, aren't we all? I mean, embarrassment has to be one of the most universal feelings in the human experience. So welcome to being human. We can all relate to that. So instead of seeing it as something to be embarrassed about, Think of it as a common experience that we can relate to on some level. Getting the help that I needed not only got me the healing I needed, but I also learned tools on how to handle life when it sucker punches you right in the gut. When I look back, the immediate mindset shift I had after grieving the greatest losses I've had in my life to date was really how fragile and valuable life really is. My mom only made it to 53 years old, and it made me look at my own mortality and realize I wanted to live life more intentionally, more on purpose and full. I no longer wanted to waste time on petty things like road rage or who got the last word or who was right and wrong and trying to prove some point just to feed my ego. Being angry, feeling less than, or unhappy was such a waste of time that I just wanted more joy and aliveness and positive energy, happiness, and to really have every single one of the blessings God has with my name on it. I was finally in a place where I was ready to trade in all the things that no longer serve me. My anger, low vibration, and negative mindset all had to be traded for a positive one. To raise my vibration higher, fully step into my power, and live into the miraculousness God always intended for me and my life. So the fire of possibility was lit more and more with every session I had with my coach. The books I read, podcasts I listened to, and events I attended. The more I learned about myself, change the narrative, and writing a new story for my life, the more doors opened. The way I see problems shifted. And if you listen to episode 9, Problems to Possibilities, that's exactly where that came from. I now see problems as an opportunity to level up, to improve something, to go within and do my inner work. I can't control other people or what happens, but I can control me and how I respond and show up. Now, let me just put this out here because I don't want anybody thinking that I'm next to Jesus walking on water, okay? Because that ain't it. This doesn't mean that I still don't fail or have human moments, but more and more often, I am showing up in ways I'm proud of. And when I don't, I no longer beat myself up, but instead, I just say to myself, girlfriend, my beloved, you still got some work to do, babe. Seeing problems differently caused how I navigate problems to shift as well. So I don't get derailed for months on end or paralyzed, preventing myself from showing up great in other areas of my life just because something goes down. You know, we're all going to have problems regardless. It's a natural part of life that's never going to go away for as long as we are living. So we might as well be prepared for how to handle them when they show up. I realized I thought life was hard when I became a divorced single mom with 2 babies. I thought that was the worst thing that could ever happen to me. Little did I know, that was one of the biggest lies I told myself. It would not be the hardest or worst thing to ever happen to me, but I never considered that anything worse could ever even happen. And when you're in survival mode, it's easy to get stuck there thinking this was all my life could ever be. You know, sometimes we get stuck in moments, looking at it from the outside in instead of the inside out. Or we're stuck playing a certain role and thinking this is happening to me instead of this is happening for me. Do you ever have moments that you found yourself stuck in? The impact and gravity of those moments are just calling you to dig deep into yourself. Take a look and ask, what is this calling me to see about myself? Are there beliefs that you need to challenge? Is there something new you need to learn, a new skill, more compassion towards yourself or others? What is this calling you to level up? What is it preparing you for? Sometimes you have to ask, what is it that I asked for that requires me to shed or leave something behind in order to have what I want? Consider questions that lead to better thoughts and more healthy ways to handle what's happening. Start with your journal. It's a safe place to capture your thoughts of all kinds and work through them within yourself. I happen to love the Growth Day app. It has an amazing journal features with really, really awesome journal prompts that get you to thinking, especially when you're not even sure what to think or where to begin. I'll make sure that I save the link in the show notes. For additional support with these topics and to work with me one-on-one, get your free strategy session by leaving a review on your favorite podcast platform. Take a screenshot and DM me on Instagram at Encourage Over Everything. Let's design a plan to eliminate the overwhelm, maximize your action, and support you as you chase your dreams while doing all the things. I get it. Sometimes it's hard to say things out loud to another person, but your journal is like your bestie. It's the one place that you can express your thoughts and not just have them swirling around in your head on repeat. I'm in the habit of writing in my journal in the morning and at night. Developing habits just like this is a game changer. Now, I'm not saying that I wake up positive every single morning, but most mornings I do. My morning routine is not just a routine. And these are really tools and habits I can rely and lean on at any given point in time during my day when I need to get back to neutral, get grounded, and operate from that place instead of temporary, sometimes erratic emotions. I also don't look at my phone for the first hour I'm awake because I don't want the outside world determining my inner world. I don't need any notifications of all the things I have to do or the things that haven't been done that I might lightweight be judging myself for. Or scrolling through everyone else's highlight reel. First thing in the morning, I just need me and my own inner connection. From the moment I open my eyes, I start every morning with gratitude. I'm always grateful for a new day, being here for my babies and my loved ones, followed by prayer and meditation, which always connects me to God and my inner knowing. This is what sets the tone for my day, that I am rooted in faith and certainty, which helps me to handle the uncertainty of the world. Next, I start planning and preparing for the day. I look at my calendar in detail and really identify what could derail me and make a plan on how I plan to respond. I can almost hear Diggable Planet singing right now. If my train goes off the track, pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. So if I do get derailed and the thing I wasn't looking forward to does happen, I have some options to pull from that I can be proud of and not something that I'm going to have to apologize for later. Now I don't get so tight about things like I used to. It's really just an opportunity for me to elevate higher. Every moment is not going to be perfect, but my chances of rising to the occasion are definitely much greater. I really just assess what I need and go get it. I look at my other tools in my well of positivity that I can pull from. If something happens to throw me off, I can come right back to my gratitude or meditation to ground me and operate from that place. If gratitude and meditation doesn't cut it, then do I need to take a moment and read a few pages of a book or listen to a podcast? What do I need to do to get me back to neutral? And, if none of those things are working, then can I go for a walk, or do I need to do a release practice to let go of some stress? Take a look at some of your old habits. And so let's get rid of old habits in order to make room to create new ones. What are some ways that you respond now that you aren't proud of? I mean, how would you like to respond? And what do you think you need to do to get there? Don't be afraid to put your needs first so you are in a better position to do all the other things that you need to, or what everyone else is wanting from you. Every once in a while, I may have a morning or a moment that requires more than just the usual morning routine. That within itself is a mindset. Very rarely do I ever have a bad day. There really isn't much that can take a whole day away from me. I have unflattering moments, but I'm not losing an entire day. You know what I mean? I revert to tapping into my tools, my well of positivity. I stay filling it up because giving me what I need so that I can operate from a better place and show up better for me and everyone else is exactly the space that I want to be in. So get yourself a morning routine to start your day with you and your own inner connection. The stronger inner connection you have, the more in tune you are with yourself to be able to come up with solutions quickly and get what you really want. If you haven't already, go ahead and give a listen to episode 8. It's my 5 habits to transform your morning routine. Those are my top 5 that I absolutely can't live without. So build your own well of positivity that you can draw from when negativity tries to set in. There are so many benefits to gratitude and meditation that we can all benefit from. I highly recommend having those 2 as tools to pull from. I smile because after great loss and healing, I have such a deep reverence for life. Life is so precious. I recognize every day is a gift. I wake up every morning with a grateful heart that I open my eyes up with ease. And I'm here for my children and all my peeps. I am here to make the most out of this life, to experience all the joys that life has to offer. I'm here to serve, and that makes my heart happy in ways I can barely express. I want to nurture my love for myself and others. I want to be proud of the work in progress that I am and will be for the rest of my days. I want to be proud of how I lived into this life, the kind of person I am, the mom I am, partner, family member, friend, neighbor I am. I smile because I've made it through things that tried to take me completely out the game, but it didn't. I smile not only because I survived, but because I'm thriving. I smile because my connection to God is stronger than it's ever been. My connection to me is stronger than it's ever been. I really learned how to trust myself. The realization is 9 times out of 10, what I'm going through right now in this moment doesn't even compare to what I've been through. And if it ain't that bad, then it ain't that bad. I smile because I choose happiness. I choose my attitude and how I decide to see things. My life doesn't have to be perfect or met with some sort of crazy set of requirements in order for me to be happy, because my happiness is no longer determined by what's happening outside of me, but more so what's happening inside of me. Heal for you because you're worth it. And if you don't do it for you, do it for those around you. So many people are bleeding uncontrollably on the ones they love. It shows up in the short-fused responses, blaming and finger pointing, and a ton of other toxic reactions. For the love of humanity, please stop hemorrhaging on everyone. Go get your healing. Work on you so you can bring the best you into your relationships and start drawing more of the things you really want to you. A word to the wise, honey. Get help on your own accord because it's what you want to do, not because you are being forced to. Life has a way of forcing us to do things, and it's usually not under circumstances we want. So don't put your healing on the back burner because it's not convenient when it's absolutely necessary for your happiness. The greatest gift you can ever give to yourself and others is to invest in your own healing. Make your healing a priority. Now, I know we just went through one of them Oprah Dr. Phil moments. So I'm going to summarize my keys to transformation for you. First, I definitely say begin to focus on your own healing. Work on healing those parts of you that need attention, love, care, and compassion. When you are no longer carrying around all of this old baggage and old beliefs and old thoughts, you really make way for the positivity to set in. It becomes the solution to combat negativity when it shows up. My spiritual relationship has really been the foundation of my healing. Things happen in life that can disconnect us, and we forget who we serve and whose we are. So getting connected and remembering what God says about you and the promises He has for your life, it will restore you in ways you didn't even know were possible. So invest in your relationship with your Creator or whomever you believe in that gave you the greatest gift of all, your life. As for coaching and personal development, I've been fortunate to have many great mentors, coaches, and counselors pour into my life. And I believe wholeheartedly this is my gift as well. And I really want to encourage you to seek counsel in your life as well. It's a strength to ask for help, receive guidance, and it's truly a gift to have the support you need to really make it through. Having someone shine their light into your blind spots and help you go faster, get that judge-free wisdom so you can really gain the clarity and insights you need is so valuable. Personal development is one of my pillars because this is where I found my power. Taking responsibility for yourself and shifting your focus back to you is where the real change is made. When you change, everything else around you changes. You are so powerful in this space because you are in the driver's seat. No more being the victim, taking a back seat to your life, or letting life drive you. It's in this space you level up your mindset and perspectives. This is how you go from seeing the glass half empty to half full, from seeing problems to possibilities, from seeing things as happening to you and instead see them as happening for you. Your own growth and development is one of your greatest treasures. And let's not forget about those habits that you have to rely and lean on as tools to keep you on track from reverting back to the old you when the new you is not willing to go back for anything or anyone, honey. The habits are those tangible things you can actually do, even when you don't feel like it, but you do it because you know the good feeling place it gets you to is exactly where you want to be. You tap into that well of positivity and you can judo chop that negativity just as quickly as it comes. Doing your inner work and getting your mind right is a major key. When you are healing and on your spiritual journey, you're growing and changing so much that you become open in ways you may have thought were closed forever. It's an open gateway that allows the support of counsel and personal development to really take root in your life and opens you up to new habits. Along the way, you are building your well of positivity to tap into whenever you need it. I smile now because I look for reasons to smile. I went from squinting and looking really hard to seeing all the positivity that's around me. The old me didn't always have reasons to smile, but the new me knows. I had reasons all along. I just wasn't looking for them, and my brain was not trained to see them. I smile now because I made a decision to make healing a priority and really create the life that I want to feel. I made a decision to change my perspective and focus on the positive instead of only seeing the negative. Now, when I see negative, I just acknowledge it, but I know that doesn't have to be my reality or the final outcome. I smile because I see possibilities and options. I get to drive. I smile the most because of the work that I've done on me, and I'm still doing my work every day. Healing and personal development, it's not just a one-time deal. There will always be new and old triggers, and life will still continue to happen. It's all a process. The difference is being equipped to handle all that and anything else that might come up, but handling it from this place of healing and inner power and self-love that makes your lifelong journey so abundantly rich. Now, I shared a lot with y'all today. This was like one of those Oprah Dr. Phil moments. But I did so to show that I've been through some things, just like I know you have been through some things. But those things don't have to define you, consume you, keep you stuck, or be the end of your story. You get to decide. You get to choose. You get to dream a new dream and go after it. You get to take all the bad things that have happened to you and use them for your good. You get to be the one who heals and rises to your full potential. You get to become the best version of you. So if you're having a hard time smiling, I really open up this invitation to you to embark on your own path of healing and self-improvement. And if you're smiling, I want to hear how you continue to smile in hard times. Of course, I'm here to help support as well. So get signed up for a free strategy session. The possibilities for you are endless, my friend. Sending you tons and tons of love because together we can encourage over everything. Thank you so much for tuning in. I would absolutely love to hear from you. Please take a few moments to leave a review. All you have to do is light me up with some stars as your rating and leave a few words. And if you happen to share this episode, let me thank you in advance for sharing positive messages. As we all know, we've got some peeps who could use an extra dose of encouragement. I'm throwing virtual confetti right now to celebrate you for finishing this episode. And I don't know about you, but I'm not ready for it to end. So if you want more, check out encourageovereverything.com for literally all things EOE. Stay connected and join the email list. You'll get that VIP treatment by being the first to know all the happenings and get encouragement sent right to your inbox. EncourageOverEverything.com has all the good stuff from show notes and all the info on today's sponsors. And if you're looking to connect with other fellow encouragers, be sure to join my exclusive community on the Encourage Over Everything Facebook group. I can't wait to connect with you in the next episode. Remember, there isn't anything that we can't get through because together we can encourage over everything.